Okay. So I'm recording. So this week or today, we are going to pick design from Dribble and then try and implement that design with React Native. Now Dribble is a site that developers or designers use for inspiration. So if you are building an app and you don't really know how to, you are not really good with design, you can come to Dribble and then source for inspiration, and then as in source for ideas, and then you can implement it in your mobile app. So that is what we use, or any other developer or designer. So it has mobile designs, it has web design. So if you are looking for something, maybe shopping, design for shopping, right? You search and then it gives you the results for the shopping. So you can see a mobile app, even if you want a web app, web design. So you click on web design and then it gives you the designs for the shopping category that you searched for. So you can choose, if you see something that you like, the design that you like, you can just look at it and then try and get ideas from there. So that is what we are going to use today. So today we are going to, what do you think we should build?
A bank application.
A bank application. So we search for bank.
Yeah, no. Let's build a tour recommendation app.
A towards recommendation app.
Yes, please.
So explain, elaborate.
It's like it will be an app that recommends places for people to visit.
Okay. Tour recommendation app. Let's see if we have some design inspirations. Let's see. Let's look at this. Something like this, or topic. I want something simple so that we can, okay, I think we can do this. Can we do this?
Yes, we can.
Yes, sir. It's very cute.
Okay, all right, sure. So let's get started. First of all, we are going to so you see that with this we have different screens. We have the first screen, the second screen, and the third screen. So let's name this as the first one to be the onboarding. So our onboarding screen, right? Then the second screen will be our home screen, and the third screen will be sort of a detail, the detail screen for each place. So it means technically we are going to have 3 screens. Now we've not learned React navigation, so I will use this opportunity to teach you guys. So let me start my Visual Studio. Right. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, and then I think this is it. Do you think I should start a new application so that we can? Okay, I think
We
can start a new application.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Then let me so my desktop, I will initialize my application, right? Expo in it. So we are tour guide, right? Let's use tour guide as the name of our application. And then do you think we should go? So we have the blank, the tabs. Now you see with our application, we have some bottom tabs here. Now, since we are going to need the tabs, when we select these tabs, React Expo will initialize or create an application with the navigation setup for us, but then we don't want to do that. you want to go the blank way, and then we can build on it. So let me click on blank and then get our project started. So first of all, so you guys understand the flex, because we're going to use all that. Let me go to React navigation. So to get started with React navigation, and this is very useful for every developer. If you are going to learn something new, or if you're going to implement something that you don't really know how to use it, the first step is to get to the official documentation. You don't go straight to Stack Overflow. So you go to the official documentation and then go through step by step. So this is the official website for React navigation. So routing and navigation for Expo and React Native app. So this is a navigation library that we can use for our React Native app. So you click on read docs, and then the first thing is get started. So you can see this get started here will give us everything that we need to install this library in our application. So you can read all this, but then I'll go straight to the point. Installation. So I have to install this. So I have to install this package to start using my React navigation. I think this one is up. Okay, I'm going to open my application. And then so we have our application, and then let me start Expo. Start. Please, can you see my screen, or I should increase the size of my visual
Yes,
pardon?
increase it.
Okay. Okay, I think this is okay. So I'm going to run my application, open iOS emulator, and then run my application. I can press I to do that. Okay, so with the React navigation, so install the required packages in your React Native project. So we have to install this package here, right? Open a new terminal, and then I'm waiting for the emulator to, okay. I want to see how my application looks like before installing any new package. So let's see. Okay, so we are opening our application. Okay, It's almost done. Okay, so this is how our application looks like. When you go to your app.js, you can only see the text view and then the status bar. And let me see if, okay, it works. So we want to implement, this is just one screen, and then the screen is the app.js. So we need multiple screens. Now, as I said, since we are going to use the React navigation, we're going to install this to our application, right? And then the next step, so this package here is made up of some core utilities and those are then used by navigators to create navigation structure in your application. So to implement the navigation in your application, this package here contains some core utilities and programs to allow you to implement that. Now, this library here, it depends on React Native screens and React Native safe area context. So it means we need to also install that in our application. So I'll go here and then yarn add, and then these two packages, I'll install it. So now you can see here in our package.json, we have the React Native safe area context and then React Native screen. So it means with this, we can start our implementation. Now I'm done with the get started. So I'll move to hello React navigation. And then you can see that installing the native, hold on, I'm coming. Hello. So with React navigation, we have something called navigation stack, right? Now, navigation stack. So you see every screen, from one screen, you're moving to another screen, and then from that screen, you're moving to the next screen. So we have some, usually we put the screens in a stack, which we can move from the first screen to the second screen and then to the last screen. If you don't know what a stack is something like this. You stack each screen on each other. So usually let me get started. So I'll install this native stack here. I'll install this package too. So sorry, I'm going to use Yarn. So React Navigation Native Stack, it provides a way for your app to transition between screens and manage navigation history. So it means that when you have one stack that contains all your screen, within that stack, you can move from one screen in that stack to the next screen in that same stack. And then React's native stack has a way of tracking the screen so that you can move in between screens. So if you move to the second screen, from that screen, you can move back to the previous screen. So let's see the implementation of that. To get started, you create a native stack navigator using the create native stack navigator. So in our app.js, since our app.js is our initial screen, right? We will import create native stack from React navigation, React navig. Let me see. Please, can you see my screen?
Yes, please.
We import native stack navigator from React navigation native stack. And then this stack, you should wrap all the screens inside a navigation container. So we will import navigation container from the React navigation native. So we import navigation container, right, from React Native navigation. So this navigation container here will wrap around every screen or stack we want to create. So instead of my view, I'm going to remove this center here, right? And then after that, I will import my React navigation, a navigation container. It means that every stack I'm going to create, I'll put it inside this navigation container here. Now we have this. They said we should create a stack. So you create a stack from the create native stack navigator. So I'll go ahead and then create a stack. So create native stack navigator. You see the way I'm following the tutorial. This is how you learn on your own with these documentations. So after I've created the stack, I'll create a stack navigator inside the navigation container. So stack navigator here will keep track of all my screens. So navigator. And then within the stack navigator, I'll have all my screens. So it means I have to go ahead and then create a folder called screen. So because you want to structure your folders very well so that you can keep track of every file. So for me, what I do is every screen, I put them inside the screens navigator and the screens folder. And then inside here, I can create all my screens. So I can use onboarding.js, right? Home screen.js, and then details.js. Because with our design, we have three screens. We have our onboarding screen, we have our the home screen, and then we have the details. So I'm going to design these screens. So here, I'll add my screen. So stack.screen, right? And then this screen here, it takes a prop. That is the name of the screen. So this name is what we use in the navigation. So if you want to navigate from one screen to the other, the name you apply here, the name you give to this screen is what you use when you're navigating to the next screen. So this screen will be onboarding, then the component. So this component here will be the component that will render when this screen, whenever you navigate to this screen. So I want to render this home screen component. So first of all, let me write my from React and then define my component. Home screen. So I have my home screen, right? So I'll copy this and then my onboarding and paste the same thing and change the name of the function. Onboarding, same for details. So here I can now import my home screen. Sorry, onboarding, right? This is onboarding. So with my second screen, it will be my home screen. home screen, right? And then my third will be my details. So details. So it means here inside my Stack Navigator, I have three screens. I have the onboarding screen, I have the home screen, and I have the detail screen. Now, by default, the first screen inside the stack is what is used for the initial screen. So the first screen will always be the initial screen. That's why the onboarding is showing here as my first screen. If I rearrange this, right, and I put my home screen here, it means that my home screen will be my first screen. So let me refresh. My home screen is my first screen. But then, for example, you can set the onboarding as the first screen and explicitly state that your home screen should be your first screen. So you can use this prop initial route name, and then you can use home screen as your initial route name. So although the onboarding screen is the first screen on the stack, it will still use home screen as your initial screen. Do you get it? So you see,
Please come again.
I'm saying that the way the Stack Navigator works, the first screen on the stack is by default the initial screen. Do you get it? So the first screen is my onboarding screen. So if I don't define my initial route, the Stack Navigator will use the onboarding screen as my initial screen. So you can see I have my onboarding screen here, right? But then if I define that, although I have the onboarding screen as my first screen, I want to tell the navigator that use my home screen as my first screen. So you can use initial route name, then the name that you used. So home screen. So it means when the app starts, it will ignore the onboarding first screen on the stack and then use home screen as the initial route name, initial route. Do you get it? Hello?
Hello, Mashood.
Yes, sir.
Do you get it?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Okay, all right. So I have my onboarding screen. Let me just remove this initial here. And then we have inside the Stack Navigator, there is something called options, screen options. So you can define various screen options for every screen inside the navigator, right? So it takes in an object, and then inside the object, you can define the header left, header right, header shown. So if you want, you see by default, right, the header is showing. So if you want to disable the header and you want to design your own header, you can use header shown to be false, right? And then the header will go away. And then you can now design your custom header. But then we want to show our header. So by default, it's true. So, and then we can define certain so title. We can state our status bar color in order. So let me see this if it will work. Okay, status bar color works with Android. Sorry. Okay. And then for each of the screens, we have a property called options. So here you can define what's the individual screen should do. So for this option here, you can state that, you see, initially it is using the name of the, the screen as the title bar, but with the options, you can define your own title, right? So there is a header title here. So you can, let's say, instead of showing onboarding, I can show welcome. So if I start my screen, instead of showing onboarding, it's showing welcome because I have defined the title of that screen. Now, welcome to my app. And then it is showing. You can also define different options for your screen. So you can say that, oh, I'm coming. You can change the header title style. So you can change the color. So you can change color to be maybe blue. I think this should, you see, and it's working. But then this is when you are using the default title bar. If you don't want to use the default title bar, you can just set header shown as false, right? Then this will go away, and then you can now design your own title bar. But then you can say it to be true. And then let's say I want the onboarding screen. I don't want the title bar to show for the onboarding screen, but it should show for the rest of the screens. That is when you use the options for each screen, So here, instead of setting, I'll set header shown here to be false. So it means that for this navigator, right, for all this navigator, the header shown is true, but then for just this screen, the header shown is false. So it means for this screen, I won't see the default header. So we can go ahead and design our onboarding screen. So we have something like this. First of all, we have a slider, right? I think a slider, a swiper view, right? But then we won't go there right now. But then I'll show you how to do it. But then we are just going to use an image to show the design this screen. So the first component I need here is an image view, right? Image, right? So we can see that for this screen, we have this image design. So I'll just go ahead inside my onboarding, go to my onboarding screen, and then sorry. Now with my image, there is a prop called source. Now this source here, import my image, sorry. This source here is where you can state the URL of the image. So if it's a web URL, so let me go to Unsplash and then get an image. Unsplash.com, and then let me use something like this. Okay. Copy image URL. And then paste it. But then it's not showing because we've not set the height of the image. So we will use our style and then set our height to be, let's say, 100, right? And then we have something like this. So, but then we can also use flex. So instead of using the height, we can use flex 1, and then it will fill our screen, like what we did last week. So this is flex 1. Now, so I'm having this image, the image is filling my screen, right? But then per our design, it is not filling our screen. We actually, is divided, the screen is divided. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use flex to divide the screen into 2. So I'll set a view here, right? And then set flex to be flex 1. So it means it will divide the screen into 2. So the total flex size is 2, right? And then the image is taking 1, and then the view is taking 1 part. but then I want the image to take 2. So I'll change this to flex 2, right? And then we have something like this. So the total flex size is 3. This one is 2 and this one is 3. The image will take 2 and then the view here will take 1 part. Yes. So that is it. Now we have some sort of border around the image. So inside the style, I'll just use margin to be, let's say 10, right? And then we have, let me use 20. And we have something like this, right? And then we have sort of border radius at the bottom left and then bottom right. So inside our style, we will do border bottom left radius. So I'll set it to 20, right? And then border bottom right radius 20. We have something like this. Let me set padding so that it won't be inside our status bar. So padding top is 55. So we have something like this. Horizontal. We have something like this, right? And then, and please, are you guys following?
Please,
Yes,
yes,
sir.
please. Yes, please. We are following.
Okay.
We are following.
But then, do you understand everything?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Okay. So
please, hello.
yeah.
Please, I had a challenge before. I had a network problem. So please, can you review the part that you added the picture, please?
So the picture I imported image from React Native, right? And then this component here. So this is how I have added the picture. It's a component, and then I've defined the styles. So the style, the flex is flex 1 and flex 2. Then the border horizontal, margin horizontal. So it means that the margin for the left and then right side will be 20, but then the margin for the top and then the down the up and then the down bottom will be 0. Then the border bottom left radius. So you know that with any view you can set border radius to be any value, but then you can specify where you want to set the border radius. So if you want to set the border radius for the bottom left corner of the view, you can use border bottom left radius and border bottom right. That is why we are having this shape here, and on top here we are having square shape because we've only defined it for the bottom left and bottom right. Do you get it? And then the source. Now this source here takes in the URL of the image. If we are using a web URL, we will add an object which contains URI, and then the URI should be the link of the image. And then we have a view here that is flex 1, the down part. That is where we are going to write these things. So travel anywhere. Yeah. So that is that. So I'm going to design my bottom part, right? My bottom part, I have a text view. So it means that from this side, I'm going to import a text, right? And then the text is travel anywhere in the world without so we have this with no style. We have this, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some margin to this view. So I'll add margin to the 20. Okay, and then this style for this text here, let's say font size will be 25, right? And then font width, I want to make it bold, right? So there's something called font width. And then with font width, I will use bold so that to increase the weight of the text. And then I'll set my text align to be center, to put it in the center. So I have something like this. but then it doesn't look right. So I will add a width, right? Let's say 400. Too much. So okay, I think we have something. Okay, I think the text is too big. So let me change it to 22. Okay, I think we have something nice. And then we have our bottom text this year. So I'll add another text view, right? And then write, if you like to travel a lot. This is your here you can go with your favorite tour. Right, sorry. So I have something like this. It is not styled, so I'll give it some style, right? And then there's some margin around it. So the margin is from top to down. So I'll use margin vertical. So margin vertical will increase the margin for the top and then the down. So I'll have margin vertical to be 20. Okay, and then align or text align center. And then change the color. So here the color is sort of gray. So I'll just use gray. Okay. All right. It's looking good, right? Or
Yeah, very good.
This is good. This is good. This is
it's
good.
looking great. It's looking great. Yeah. So this is how you design your mobile app. You see, it's not difficult. You just have to know how to style your components. So yeah. We have two buttons here, right? Last week I explained something, flex direction row and flex direction column. So by default, right? Every view by default, the flex direction is column, right? But then with React, you can set the flex direction to be row if you want items to, you want to arrange them from left to right or from right to left. Okay. So we are going to add our view, right? And then set our flex direction to be row, right? It means that anything we put inside will be from left to right. And then inside that row, we have two components. We have the skip button and then the next button, right? So instead of using a button, I'm going to use something called touchable opacity. Now, touchable opacity, what it does is anything you wrap around. So if you put a text, right, and then you put it inside the touchable opacity, it means now that text will be clickable. So you can see that now if you can see the opacity, it means I can click it. You get it? But then with this, I can't click it. So if I want to make anything clickable, I'll just put that component inside a touchable opacity. So here we are going to design our own button. That's why we are using the touchable opacity. So with the touchable opacity, I can style it, right? And then add padding to be 10 and then background color. The first background color is what? sort of gray. So let me just use gray, right? And then use flex 1. This also works like the column flex, right? And then I'll add a text. So justify content. I want to align everything in the center. So justify content center, align items. I think I explained this at that time. So, and then I'll add my text. That is skip. Okay, so I have something like this. So I have to, I need a border radius. So border radius for my touchable opacity. A touchable opacity is just like a view, just that it has additional functionality. So you can click on it. So I'll add a view of border radius of, let's say 20, right? We have something like this, but then we have to make it very big. So let's increase our padding to 15. And then this one. Okay. The background color, I'm going to use FA. So that it will be, sorry. Let me set my background color to be white. So that at least we can set. Okay, let me use E3. E3, okay. I think E3 will be nice. And then I'll duplicate this touchable opacity, right? So we have something like this. So you see flex 1, so it's dividing it equally. So here I'll click on next. And then add some margin to make it look right. So here I'll add margin right, 5. And then here I'll add margin left. And then the button is different. So I'll change the background color to be blue. This blue doesn't look nice. So usually what you do is when you want to select a color, you go to google.com and then search color picker. It will give you this color picker here where you can pick the color from. So I'll just choose some, copy the link, the hex value, or I can use RGB. So I'll just come here and then paste it. And we have something like this. Then the text, I'll change the color to be white. And then we have something like this. Is it okay? Does it look good?
Yeah.
I think we have.
Very
Yeah, it
good.
looks
Yes, very good. Very good.
Okay.
yeah.
Are we missing something?
I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are missing
Okay,
something.
maybe.
Hello, yeah.
There is too
Yeah,
much margin beneath the buttons.
Too much
And then
money.
we are missing another thing on the picture too.
Which one?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
dots, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
see,
so
uh-huh.
I said we are okay, I'm coming. I will go there. We have a lot of padding below, right? So
Yeah.
first of all, let me see. I want to debug to see what my view is doing. So this here is taking everything. Sorry. So what I can do is I can add some margin on top. So margin top. Maybe I can bring it down. Yeah, so the swipeable, right? I said we are not going to do the swipeable because we've not gotten there, but then there's a component that we can use. It's called React Native Swipeable. React Native Swiper. So when I go to this documentation here, it allows us to implement the swipe view. So you can see, so we can add that to our project and then implement it. But then that should be, you guys should go and and do that. So this is how you do it, and then so I think we should add some icons, right? Now there is a library called Expo Vector Icons. Expo Vector Icons. So that is usually what we use in when you want to add an icon to your Expo app. So you install, let me go to the documentation here. So you install Expo Vector Icons, right? So let me copy this. Sorry. So you install this, you copy this, right? And then you try and install it. And add. Now we have our icons, icon set installed, right? Now, if you want to set an icon, you come to this website and then you can search any icon, let's say forward, right? I think we are looking for arrow right. I think with our design, we have an arrow right here. So we can search, and we have different types of icons. We have the ant design, evil icons, this icon, feather, font awesome 5, iron icons, material icons. So each icon set, it has different designs. So you can choose which icon you want to go for. So if I choose ant iron icons, these are the iron icons, right? If I choose material icons, these are the material icons. So I just want any. So I'll just use iron icons. I want iron icon arrow right. Where is it? Arrow forward. So I'll click on it, and it's saying that I have to import the icon family from this. So it means that inside my screen, I'll import iron icons from my Expo Vector icons, and then just like that, I can, wherever I want to add it, create my component here, iron icons, and then the name. So the name will be the name of the icon. That is the arrow forward. So arrow right, and then the color. So here by default is black, so you can change the color. So color is what? White. But then you see, since this view here, we've not defined any flex direction, automatically it's using colon. So I'll just use flex direction. I'll set flex direction to be what? Row. And then now we have this. So I can just change the size of my icon, maybe 20, so that it will become very big. This is very big. And then I can add some style. So I want some margin left, so 10. So that will create some. Yeah, so we have something like this for our first screen. Is it okay? Hello?
Yeah, you're doing great here.
Okay, so this is okay. So this is our first screen, but you can see when we click here, it doesn't do anything. And go baby. So we have to now navigate it to the next screen. So now to the navigation part. So with every component, right? Since we've wrapped the component inside the navigation container and the stack navigator, every component has a property here. It has props here, right? Every component has props. And now I can console.log those props, and then we can see what is inside. So inside my navigation onboarding, the props here, we have an object called navigation. Because we added this navigation here inside the navigation container, every component, every screen inside the navigation container inherits props called navigation. And this navigation contains function that we can use to navigate from one screen to the other. So here we have props here. It means that if I want to navigate to my next screen, I'll just use on press of the next screen, right? On press of the next of this button, sorry. Props dot navigation dot navigate. So, and then the name of the screen. So the name will be maybe home screen. You get it? So it means anytime I click here to take me the navigation. I think there's a typo. Navigation. Okay. So we've moved from the onboarding screen to the home screen. Now this is possible because we have the home screen defined here. Now, if I comment this out, right, and I click here, it won't go anywhere. It's saying that navigate with payload home screen was not handled by navigator. Do you have the screen name home screen inside your stack? So it means if I don't add the screen here, it means I can't navigate to it. So I have to add it. And then now I can navigate to the screen. Do you get it? Hello?
No, you can go.
Kindly go back, please.
Yeah. So I'm saying that with every screen that you put inside this navigation stack here, right? It inherits some properties, right? That you can access from this place, this props. Now, this props here, it inherits an object that contains the functions that you can use to navigate from one screen to the other. Do you get it? Then the name of that object is navigation. So it means if you want to navigate from your onboarding screen inside your stack, right? You have onboarding screen, you have your home screen. If you want to navigate from this onboarding screen to the home screen, right? Since this navigator here is passing a property called navigation inside each component, you can access that using props navigate. And then this navigate here accepts the name of the screen you want to move to. Do you get it? So you can navigate from screen A to screen B. Do you get it?
Yes, please. Yes, yes.
Yeah. So that is why I've been able to move from this onboarding screen here to the home screen. Yeah, so I think we have that. We are done with the navigation here. So we can move from one screen to the other. Now it's time for us to design our home screen. Let's see how our home screen looks like. Okay, all right. So we have this. Okay, so you can see that now our home screen here is actually a bottom tab. We have some tabs here. We have home screen. I think it includes a lot of screens. So we have home and some different things here. So, but then with our home screen, there's nothing here. It's just one screen. Now, how do we achieve our bottom tab? If you don't know how to do that, we go to our React navigation, right? Because since we are doing that, we go to our React navigation and then search for, hold on, I'm coming. I have a call. Okay. So sorry guys, I'm back. So we search for bottom tab navigator, right? And then we can see the documentation for that. So it says here that a simple tab bar on the bottom of the screen that lets you switch between different routes. Routes are lazily initiated. These screens components are not mounted until they are first focused. So installation. To use this navigator, ensure you have React navigation native, and we already have that. But then we don't have these bottom tabs. So since I don't have these bottom tabs, I'll go ahead and install the bottom tab here. So this is my terminal. So I'll install bottom tab, right? And then this here, it shows us how to API diff, how to use it. It's just like how we use the stack navigator. So I think, yeah. So after installation, right? Okay, I think inside our app navigator, instead of using a screen for the home screen, right? I'll go ahead and define my bottom tabs, right? And then import create bottom tab navigator here. And then let me see. We are creating a function. So function my bottom tab. Bottom tab dot navigator, right? And now I can define my screen. So bottom tab dot screen, just like we did for the stack navigator, right? And then the name of the bottom tab may be home screen, right? And then the component screen, home screen. And then here, instead of the component here, instead of using the actual component as in the screen, I'll just use this, my bottom tab here. My bottom tab here. Let's see if it will work. Okay, I think we have it. So when you navigate here, it works. So here, option, I'll disable my header file. I'll disable my header shown. So we just have our home screen. Now you can see we are getting the tab session. So now I can define my icons for the bottom tab. So inside there, I can use I think there's options, right? And then inside the option, I can define tab bar icon. So with tab bar icon, I'll use iron icons. So like what we did for the next icon. So I'll use the icon name will be home. Sorry, name will be home, and then size. So now we have something like this. And then I think I'll increase the size. So size will be 10 or 20. I think yeah, we have something like this. Yeah. So this is my first screen. Now we are only getting one tab here because we've included only one screen here. So here, let me just create a new screen called maybe explore, right? The JS. And then copy this. Explore, right? And then inside my bottom tab, I'll include another screen. And then the name will be explore. And then the icon will be, let me use something like this. And then the component will be explore. So now you can see that we have two screens, two tabs. When I click here, it will toggle between the screens. Now I can define my title here to be, instead of using the default name, I can use actual name here, explore, right? And then I can use my title home. Okay. So yeah, so this is it. Now we have our bottom tab. This is how you implement your bottom tab in React Native. You see, it's very easy. You don't need a lot of code, but then being able to implement it. So now we can do some skirmishes. We can change the active color. So title active color should be, let's say, let's say red. No, come on. I think it's different. There's a way to set that. So tab bar label style, you can change all that. So label style here. So if I want my color to be red, I can now change the label style. Oh, okay. This is just for the explore. I can do that inside the options here. Navigator. Screen options. So tab bar. Right. So tab bar inactive change color. I can set when the label is inactive, I can set it to be gray, right? It should work. And then when it is active, that's the active color. Set it to blue. It should work. Okay, I think it is working. The blue is working, but it's not applying to the icon. So I think I know how to do it. This props here, it contains the focus and then the color. So I can apply this box here. See if okay, so I think it is working. Please can you see it?
Yes, you can see it.
Yes,
Could
please.
we go? Could we go?
Okay, so this is the home and this is the explore. So yeah, from our onboarding screen, we have our, so here you can add multiple screens. So you can add another screen here that is maybe settings, right? And then you create another screen for settings, and then you can now change the icons for it. So now you have this settings. So you can create as many bottom this one as you want, and then you can add that. Now let's design our screen. With our home screen, we don't really need okay, I think we are not showing the label. So here inside my screen option, I'll tab bar show label, I'll set it to false, meaning that it will only show the icon. And I have something like this. And for all the screens too, I think there is no header. So it means I'll set my header shown here. I'll set my header shown here to be false. So it means now I can design my screen. So if I want to design my home screen, just like we did for the onboarding, I go to my home screen and then start my design. So now we can add icons, we can navigate, we can do bottom tab. So the same way we have different navigation views. We have the drawer, right? So if you want to add a drawer view, you see that thing that you press, and then so the implementation is here. Same way you install navigation drawer, and then you follow the tutorials. You follow the tutorials, and then now you can have your drawer. Yeah, so let's design our home screen. Please, any questions so far?
No, but we need a video.
Pardon?
We need a recording when we are done.
Oh yeah, I'll post it so that you can have access to it. So our home screen, let's see what is there. First of all, we have this welcome in the name of the person. And then you can see here on the right side, we have a notification icon and this icon here. So it means we need a row, right? It means the view we are going to use should be a row. So first of all, for it to not cover my status bar, I'll set padding top with 55, right? And then I'll set my view. So view here, for the debugging sake, I'll just set my background color to be red, right? And then add some padding. Okay. I'm going to add padding horizontal for the parent view so that every view I put in will have some sort of padding left and then padding right. So I'll use padding horizontal as this. And then this is a row, right? So flex direction should be a row. And then inside the flex direction, I have a view. I have a view, right? Which is from top to bottom. So I'll add my my button here. So text. and then welcome. So we have this, and then inside here there is the location. So the location too is a row. So I'll set another view, right? Set another view, and then set my flex direction to be a row. And then I'll have my iron icons first, or any icon that you want to use. So name will be location. So I think I have something like this. And then the next is the text. So yeah, something like this. I'm not styling it. We are just doing the views. Now here we have our row here. And then on our right side, we have this icon. So I'll import my icon. Name is notification. And then another icon that is what this. So I think it is the name of the icon is something. Oh, I've forgotten. I'm coming. I think albums or something. No, let me go to Expo vector icons. Where is it? Expo vector icons, and I can search, I can filter it, and then see what I'm looking for. I can look through. I think something like this. No,
Gallery.
gallery. Let me see. I think there is nothing like gallery inside. So I've seen it before. I've seen it before. Okay, yeah, I think this grid here. So the name is grid. Grid, right? And then let me remove the color here. Where is it? The color? Where is it? So we have something like this, but then this is not how we want it. We want our first view to occupy the screen. So we will set the style to be flex one. So it means it should occupy everything, and then we should push the other views to the right side, and then we will set inside our row, we will set align item center. So it means anything inside our row, it will put it in the center, and then change the size here to be 30. No, 30 is too big. 20. We will add some styles, right? So style, adding horizontal 20, and then change this to size. And the color is what? Sort of gray. So I'll change my color to something. I think I'll use E3. E3. Color E3. No, it's too. Let me use gray. Okay, I think I have something like this. It's not exact, but then we can go with it. I think they're great. We have to change it to grid outline. I think something like this, yeah. And then the top here, the text is bold, so we add our style. So font size is what? Right? And then font width is bold. Font width is bold. padding, set it to font weight is bold, and then the row below we'll set align items center, and then change the color of the text. So color will be gray, and then this icon to, let's give it some margin left. And style color is gray. Then we have something like this. Yeah, I think so. I think, yeah. Let's change the size to be to 15. Okay, let me use outline. Okay. So, yeah, it's getting, how does it look? It doesn't look nice, right? It doesn't look like what we are designing.
It's okay.
Come on, hold on. So this is, I think they are using a different icon set. I think they are using Ant design. Let me go to Ant design, right? And then search for grid. No. Ant design, there is no grid. Their location icon is different. Their location icon is Ant design. Why? I've used it before. Why? Where is it? Okay, yeah, I think they are, yes, something like this. Yes. So I'll use Ant design rather. Instead of iron icons, I'll use Ant design. So Ant design, I'll import it. And then the notification, let me see. Their notification icon is different. Let me search, see which one is best. Notification. I think iron icon is the best too. Let's go with that. It's okay, I won't change it. Okay, so we have this. So we have our top view here. We've designed our top view here. The next thing is the text inputs. I think so far we've not done any text input, right? So what I'm going to do is in Android Studio, we did can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. In Android Studio, we did edit text to accept text from the user, right? But then with React Native, there is text input, or text input. It's the same as edit text. So when you import this, so edit input, sorry. This will allow you to accept text from the user. So I'll add a placeholder, right? A placeholder, enter your text here. So it means when I click on it, I can now type something inside. You get it. So if you want to accept text from users, use the text input. So we have to style our text input. So first of all, let's put our text input inside a view, because you see we have three views here. We have the icon, the set icon, we have the text input itself, and then this filter. So we can do that by putting it inside a view, right? And then making it a row. So change the flex direction to be row, right? And then let's add some padding to it. And then change the background color to be gray. Okay, we have something like this. Let's add some margin vertical. 5. No, 5 is too small. So 10. And then what do you think we should do next according to our design? Hello? Hello?
Hi.
Saying that according to our design, what do you think we should do next? This is what we have for you. For our
Make it transparent. And give it a little bit border.
we should give it a border radius, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it
Yeah,
means
about that.
Both sides.
border radius, let's say 20, right? Okay, I think we have something.
Yes.
30. Okay. And then what's next?
The icon.
The icons, right? So since we have the flex direction to be row, I'll just add my iron icons, right? And the name is search, something like this. Let me use, okay. And then I'll change the size, right?
Yeah.
20.
Yes, please.
And then the color.
Gray. But
Color
when the
to-
color change, the background color of the search, the placeholder. won't
Hello?
change to be
Yeah, hello,
When the color-
hello. The placeholder, the color of the placeholder too as well.
You said you can't see it well. Hello?
Can.
we can
Yeah, hello, Matthew.
Yeah.
We
can
can see it. We are saying that the padding between the search icon and then the placeholder text.
Oh, okay,
There
okay,
should be some.
okay, okay. So I'll add style to my text. Then I'll give it padding horizontal. So padding horizontal 5 or 10. Okay. Is that okay?
yes.
And then what's next?
Change the name.
There's another icon over there, and then we'll change the text in the placeholder to what is in there.
Search destination. Okay, so there is an icon here, which is a filter icon. So I can go to my aunt's design. If I don't know the name of the icon, I can search for filter and then see what I can use in place of that. I don't think there is any icon like that. So I'll just scroll through and then see if I can find any let's use the filter for now. Okay, let's use this. Let's use something like this. So iron icons. Just let me copy this. And then name is filter. Okay. And then what do you think we should do next?
Um,
Are you the one answering?
Hello?
Yeah, hello, Mashoud. Now
yes.
we have to change the text, the placeholder text, and then resize the filter icon too.
We need to, okay. So search destination, right? And then what's next?
And then we have to float the filter icon to the far right in the search bar.
And then how do you think we can do that?
We can either give it a margin or Yeah, imagine left
Imagine for which one?
for the filter icon.
Filter.
So filter icon. So you want me to add a star, right? And
Yeah, star.
margin left.
Margin left.
Like how? What's the value? What value should I use?
20.
Like maybe 30.
30. Okay. Mm-hmm.
30 is small.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe 50 or 60.
70 rather.
Uh-huh.
Hi.
Do you think this is actually the right way to go about this? Because if we have a screen size that is smaller than this, it means that with this margin left, the icon is actually going to disappear because it will go inside.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the best approach?
A flex. We should use a flex rather.
Okay, so where do you think we can apply the flex?
In the search bar, we can apply the flex. We can give it a flex, and then the filter icon will specify the flex that will give it maybe 1, so that it will
Okay.
position.
So if you give, let's say, a component is between two views, right? And you give the middle one a flex, you don't necessarily have to give the second one a flex. So if I do this, right?
Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
now it will occupy the space, and then the rest of the space, the other icons will occupy it. You get it? So it will just occupy its space and push it to the far end. So you have to add some margins and then this one to make it fit. So you can see we have this view here, which is a row, which is occupying the whole screen horizontally. Now this iron icon occupies its space. Then this vector icon occupies its space. If you give the text input a flex, it will stretch it to the far end, but then it won't overlap. Do you get it? So this way, if you have multiple screens, it means you won't have to redesign your thing again. The flex will adjust. Do you get it? Yeah. So what do you think we have to do next? I think we've designed the
search bar. We are done with the search bar.
search bar, and then yeah. So I think when we click on it now, we can add something. So now the person can type. So with the text input tool, there is something called keyboard type. So if you want to, if let's say you're accepting only phone numbers, right? The keyboard type will show the user only the number pad. So if you hear, we have different text inputs. We have number pad, we have email address, we have numeric. So if you select numeric here, you can see that the keyboard will change to this. But if you select none, select, or if you just remove it, automatically it will give this text keyboard type for the user. Is that okay? Do you understand that part?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so you can change the text input for any, and you can change the keyboard type for the text input. We have this here. As you can see, I think it's a list. It's a horizontal list. So what do you think we can use? We can use a map. We can create an array, right? We can create an array of objects. So I think locations, right? Which is an array, which you have lakes, jungle, and then mountain. So we have these lakes here, these locations here. We can map through these locations and then show some view. So map, then for each item, I think we did this in Python. So for each item, we want to render a view. Do you get it? So for each item, we want to render a view. And inside that view, it will contain a text, right? Which will be the item. So it means when I do this, supposed to, you see the locations contains the lakes, jungle, and mountain. So I'm looping through it. It's a string. So for each string, I am rendering that string inside the text. If I want to make it a horizontal scroll view, I'll just put everything in a scroll view, right? And then that way, right, I can have something like, no, sorry. I can put this in a, I'm sorry. I can put this in a view, right? And then the view, I'll set the flex direction to be what? Row. So it means that instead of stacking it up, it will use the row. And then this way I can set justify content space between. So it will space between the items equally. So you have something like this. Now I can style my view. So style border. So I want this border width here. So I'll set my border width to be, let's say, 0.5, right? And then add some padding to it. So 20. Nice today. 10 or 15. Right. And add my border radius. 10. No, border radius should be 30 or 40. Something like this, right? And then I think the padding is too much. 10 is okay. And then I'll add border color. I want it to be gray. Something like this. Or instead of making it space between, can just remove this and then add, for every item, I'll add margin right 20. So that's goes mean that if I want to scroll, if I have like 10 items here, if I have 10 items here, right, it means it will go into the other side. So if I want to scroll, I'll just wrap this here in a scroll view. In a scroll view. I'll wrap everything in a scroll view. Let me see if it works. It doesn't work. I'm scrolling vertical instead of horizontal. So I'll set think direction or something coming. Horizontal, yeah. I'll set horizontal to be true. So it means that instead of it to scroll vertically, you should be able to scroll horizontally. So if I set this, my view is messed up. Yeah, because every scroll view has a defined height. So I'll wrap it around a view. So I have something like this. I don't want the bottom, the horizontal this one to show, so I will disable. So show horizontal scroll indicator to be false. And then we can have something like this. Very smooth. Is that okay? Because we don't have the icon, that is why we are just using the text. So the same way we are using a scroll view for this, you can use a scroll view for this card too. So you can design this card and then you can scroll horizontally. Yeah. So I think we've come, as in we've done a whole lot, right? we've done a whole lot. And you can continue the design. I'll push this code in the repository, the organization. So anybody who wants to look at it can just look at it. But then after that, I'll post the video and then you can get access to it. Okay. Any questions? So you see, the reason why I'm able to do all this is because I have been using it like always. So I know what to do and then what to not do. So, and then the best thing that you can have as a developer is Google or the documentation. So if you don't understand anything or you need to do something, but then you don't know how to do it, you can Google it or ask a friend. Do you get it? So moving forward, I think it is up to you to find out how to continue this project. So we've done the design, we've done the onboarding screen, right? This is the onboarding screen. And so you can, now you can add the swiper because I showed you a component that you can use. So you can go and look at the documentation and add a swiper. There is something called a carousel view. So React native carousel, right? So snap carousel. So when you look at the documentation, right, you can, this is how it works. So sorry. So if you are designing an app that's, you want to implement something like this, you can come here and then look at the code and how they've implemented it. And then you can apply it. So yeah, I think that is all for today. Thank you guys for joining. If you have any questions, please let me know. Okay. Hello.
Hi.
Yeah.
You're going
Any
to
questions so far? Here, this side. If you don't understand anything.
Hello.
Yes.
Please, can we get the link to the actual design you were doing?
Ah. Okay. Okay. All right. Sure. I'll send it to the WhatsApp group. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Bye. All right. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you too, boss.